So, got this really awesome, amazing tool called SellMeThisPen. So SellMeThisPen, utilize an AI in order to help you, role play, right? So if you're in sales, this is great for sales organizations. If you have some B2B sales team, you can essentially, pre-program any type of scenario. So for example, I have a cold call scenario. I have it set up for as a T-Mobile reseller. And I also do AI stuff and AI tools and services. So I've essentially set up a couple of call scenarios where it's just essentially going to help me role play, right? So not with an actual person, but with a profile of whomever I programmed it with. So for example, I got the C-suite. It tells me here my agenda is to gather information about the leads, needs and challenging, clearly elaborating the value prop. And basically it says the goal of this call is to book a meeting, right? So what I want to do is, I'm going to go ahead and, start this call. It gives me 7 minutes. So essentially I got to convince them to, book a meeting with me, right? So, these are based on the parameters that I've set. Clearly, if you have, another, type of organizations, they have different playbooks here, right? So, I have a playbook, right? The T-Mobile for Business playbook. They have some discovery, different, what they call tips, where you can, it'll give you tips based on how you want. So if you have a value prop, we might be able to help. Let me tell you more about what we do. And can you tell me if it fits your needs? So it's kind of helping you along the way. It's kind of coaching you, right? So you can add all these tips. You can also get tips during a call, which is important. So yes, SellMeThisPen has an extension that you'll be able to utilize. So when you start a call, you should be able to get on this side panel here. It'll give you some coaching as you do the call, right? But again, the big one is the AI role play. You know, people role play, but it's not always the greatest scenario. You don't want to do it. You're a little embarrassed. So this will help you, or at least your people, do some role play based on the scenarios that you've, pre-considered, set up. So for example, in this one, we'll do a role play. It's a cold call scenario. I'm cold calling Justin from my list in the C-suite. So my agenda is to gather info, blah, 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 but ultimately is to book a meeting. And you'll see that these are not pushover, role plays. These are actually, fit the criteria. So I'm talking to a C-suite member. So let's go ahead and, peel back the onion and reveal, back behind the curtain to see what really goes on a cold call. Let's see what's up. Let's see if I got the skills to pay the bills. Start.
This is Justin. Who's calling?
Justin, good afternoon. This is Nestor. I'm calling from Cambia Digital. This is a cold call. I know you weren't expecting it, but you got 30 seconds for me to tell you why I'm calling, before you go ahead and hang up and throw your phone out the window.
Yeah, sure, Nestor. I've got 30 seconds. Go ahead. What's this about?
Well, Justin, here at Cambia Digital, organizations like yours, choose the right wireless carrier and then manage it. And what makes us unique is that we are able to broker and resell all wireless carriers. We're not beholden to any of them. Our mission is to set up a call with you to figure out what you're doing from your mobile ecosystem now, to see if you have ways that we can minimize your costs regardless. And if it means implementing one or various vendors, we can do that as well. Is that something that you're looking to discuss, Justin?
Okay, Nestor. So you're saying you guys help manage wireless carriers and stuff. Look, I think we're all set. Thanks, though. We already
All right. So I could have kept going, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there just to show you essentially it'll still give you feedback, right? So if we go to the call right now, it gives me the transcript. So it's probably analyzing it right now. While it's doing that, we can go to the dashboard. We can see some of my previous meetings here. So let's go ahead and, as you can see, I've done a bunch of these. It gives you a score. There's been a few times that I failed, and that's a good thing, right? I've been doing sales for 30 years, right? I'm really good at it. I'm really good at cold calling. I'm really good at booking meetings, closing deals. But look, my very first time out, I didn't do well. I got a 43%, right? It told me, I had a role play with Lisa. I essentially, my agenda was to gather info. So it was the same profile that we just did. The goal of the call was to book a meeting. So I got 100% on the permission based opener, right? So I asked permission with my opener. I started the call by asking if they could take 30 seconds. Okay. Assessing if the challenges you saw were relevant. So Nesta confirmed that the challenges they shared were relevant by asking if they were facing similar issues. So I don't think I did that on the last call. So that's good, right? It's kind of reinforcing where I need to, to execute, or maybe it just slips our mind. Again, this keeps us on our toes. This keeps us going well. So I didn't confirm the top challenge for the prospect, right? So this was on the first call. So it gave me really a lot of different areas that I need to focus on. So the opener, what relevancy it had, right? What value prop did I deliver the value prop? How did I handle objections? In this case, poorly, right? I got a 0 all the way through, right? And again, it gives me the transcript. I probably gave up on the call. I remember the first time I was like, holy smokes, this is no joke. I thought it was going to, be a piece of cake. It's clearly not, right? So now let's go move on. Again, second call I failed, but look here, let's go to a role play I had with Stacy where I finally, I buckled down. I looked back at my feedback. I said, you know what? Let me implement this, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. By the third call, I already got a 92, right? It gives you a talk ratio amount. So 70% me, 30% prospect, probably not the best, right? It even tells you what the ratio should be. So I was not good there, but it let me know. And again, same ICP, right? Same profile. So I got 100 again on the opener. I definitely used the permission-based opener, which I highly recommend. I got an 83 in assessing if, in fact, the challenges that I saw were relevant to them, right? So I confirmed the relevance of the challenges by asking if the prospect's company faces similar issues. I mentioned some of the common challenges that I saw. So I mentioned that I solved challenges related to connectivity for remote workers, clearly communicating value proposition and linking it to the prospect's challenges. So, I'm doing a good job there. I did a good job there. I maybe didn't do the best job in communicating the value prop. So, I could probably do a little bit better there. And again, I actually, did well on handling some objections. I acknowledged the objection. I showed understanding. I didn't push too hard. And then I validated the concerns about being swamped and having existing solutions. I provided clear responses, suggesting a meeting when the prospect was less busy, which is, hey, what we're trying to do, right? And then I was able to successfully schedule a meeting, and I got a date and time. So I did my job on that call, right? And I think that specifically was attributed to the feedback that I got on the calls, the 2 prior calls that I didn't do so well on. So this is an excellent tool to help you or your sales team, either become good at selling, become better at selling, identifying areas where we might not be good. And this is on a cold call, which is very relevant when you do get a cold call, right? Now you can even, again, this is only one type of scenario. We can go ahead and do different types of scenarios. So that guy I just got a cold call with, now I'm on a discovery call, right? So many people are pretty good. I may be great at booking a discovery call, but I may not have a clue as to what I'm doing on a discovery call, right? Am I asking the right questions? Am I being relevant and engaging, having the client engage? Am I valuing their time and asking the questions that are gonna steer to our result, mine and the customers, which is getting some next steps, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to make this call relevant, not just for me, but for the customer, so that this is pushing back and it's letting me know. So this is a first discovery call. The agenda is to cover the pain points and challenges and validate the value prop. So I'm not going to get to that call right now. I'll do that in another video, but this is pretty impressive because I can really, train myself, my staff to, based on what we have. And again, playbooks are key. This is where you can customize, everything, right? You'll be able to customize what you're selling, what your value is, what your value prop is. So if we go ahead and, what happens, right? So we're going to create a new playbook. Let's call it, AI, chatbots, right? And then, AI, chatbots for sales and support, right? And then I can add new talking points, right? And I can add different, scorecards. I can add the Sandler approach. So I can link a scorecard so I can, if I like to use Sandler, so again, you can add multiple playbooks, right? If you see in this one, I'm going to discard that for now, but if you see, this was the one I created. So what it'll ask me is for, team, it'll go through. So what kind of questions do I want to ask, right? How are you currently providing connectivity for remote workers and field and sales associates, right? Because that's who we're targeting, right? The companies that need that. We sell 5G. So how are you leveraging 5G? It's a great question to ask because whether or not they are leveraging 5G or not, it's a good conversation starter. Well, I'm not leveraging 5G, or am I leveraging 5G, or I don't know. Okay. So we can ask further. We can add a whole bunch. So I only added 2. I can go ahead and add a whole bunch more and update these, right? And then, and then the, discovery, these are built in, discovery ones that make sense for everybody. So building rapport, right? Does this, still work for you? A time check, goal for the meeting, setting an agenda, discovering the context, presenting a situation. How are you handling, remote workers in the field today, right? Can you elaborate on what is it? So it really gives you, some really good, overall tips and, playbooks that you can incorporate into any scenario, or at least use to guide you to, any, to then cater to your specific niche. And, so you got tips, you got scorecards. So this is great. This is what we're talking about. So scorecards are basically how they're judging, right, your rep's performance, right, and my performance. So when I make those calls, those assessments that they were giving me, where are they basing that? Well, I based it on SMTP. That's, their own internal, discovery call, assessment checkpoints. So these are, really relevant to most. And then I specifically chose Sandler because, so I'm using the Sandler sales methodology. So it's, giving me all the Sandler steps. So it's judging me on how effective, the sales rep, say, for example, I'm at rapport building, right? So did I mirror the prospect's tone and pace? Was it repetitive? Was I respectful? That's part of the Sandler method, and it's being integrated. So now when you, training yourself or training your sales associates, you could figure out, hey, you know what? This is what I want them to learn. This is what the purpose of the call is. I want them to be trained on cold calling. I want them to be trained on, discovery. And again, this can be used also for not necessarily sales call, maybe an internal, or a co-sell partnership opportunity. So, as a co-sell, as a sell with partner, I partner, for example, with T-Mobile sales reps on an opportunity. So if, for example, a T-Mobile sales rep has an opportunity and they might be looking for equipment that T-Mobile doesn't currently sell, that's when they would engage someone like myself. And then I would, have a relationship more with not only the account executive at T-Mobile, so we can align our, goals and, our perspectives, but, then I can also align with the customer and how they want me to, so I can tailor these role play calls based on sales methodology, based on, bespoke, tailored, different, to your niche. So depending on how you sell, what you sell, what stage of the customer journey, it could even be customer service, right? So maybe you have a customer service team and you're using this and you want your customer service team to respond and to use a customer service a customer service methodology, right? Similar to a sales methodology, there are customer service methodologies that they can use, to, ensure that they know how to handle calls, right? So if you program the call type, the the role play type, if you program the role play type, it will then, train your reps there. So really a great tool. Something that can be implemented not only for, yourself, whether you're trying to improve your own sales, but also for an organization, right? So, they didn't give me a score on the last call because I guess we hung up, which is good. And I had a call earlier today. I had a role play with Jacob. Let's see. This was earlier today. Today's the 20th. That was earlier. Let's see. I had a role play with Jacob. Again, same scenario. I was, mobility, digital transformation, AI, yada, yada. So again, call-based opener. That was strong. I'm strong in the force with that. I always recommend a strong call-based opener, and a call-based opener is simple. Introduce yourself, be realistic, acknowledge why that you're calling them unexpectedly, right? Because they know that, you know that. Don't try to change that fact. Acknowledge the truth. Say, hey man, I know you're not expecting this call. If you got 30 seconds for me, I'll tell you why I'm calling. And if you, and that's all I'm asking for is 30 seconds. You want to hang up after that, go right ahead. I try to infuse a little humor, like, hey, you got 30 seconds for me before you hang up, or before you throw your phone out the window, or before you, yell out, leave me alone, right? Whatever. Or before you hang up on me, right? Give them that. So that usually tends to work, and it's respectful. And, I didn't make that up. I know a lot of people use that, and that's important. And then you have, relevancy, right? So again, I scored low there again. So that's a really good for myself, right? I'm a 30-year veteran doing this, and I'm still missing out and assessing if the challenges I solved. Now, quite frankly, in my own defense, not being defensive, but, typically with T-Mobile, like I sell T-Mobile, I typically know who my, customers are, or at least their challenges are pretty similar. But again, I need to do this. I need to make it relevant and make sure that I'm assessing if what I'm solving is relevant to the prospect, right? Because I may say, hey, I'm great at, reducing costs, but that might not be what they're looking for. And typically I don't use that. I just, whatever, but so you get the idea. So, and then I was able to confirm that, the challenges we share were relevant by asking if connectivity was an issue, and the prospect agreed, right? I mentioned common challenges that I solved. So really, value prop. And then, wow, I did pretty good. I didn't notice this, but I did pretty good because I did book the meeting, right? And I'm telling you, this is not a pushover, right? As you guys see, the dashboard meetings, there were a few times where I failed, and recently, right? Earlier today, I got a high score, but why? Because I role play earlier, right? This I got on lock, right? But then boom, I fell off a cliff, right? I totally fell off a cliff. And if you look here, it gives you the transcript. Oh, for the last 20 years, I try to be smooth by helping companies. Yeah. So you're saying help companies reduce their cost. Excuse me. And as you can see here, I have their transcript. You're saying, oh, so you're saying that, I tried it. I tried the costs, right? That didn't really fly because she's like, hey, you help companies, interesting, I guess, but look, I got to go in a meeting right now. And I didn't really do a good job of overcoming, at least the value prop and the relevancy. However, I did, acknowledge, the objection. So I was able to acknowledge, about budget and, that sort of thing. But guess what? I still didn't get the meeting, right? So, again, it doesn't matter if you're new. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran. You can use this tool. You can customize it to your organization, your, role, your call customer journey, role, a part of the role, whether it's cold calling, discovery calls, you can book, second calls, maybe partnership calls, maybe, you want to have a pitch deck, right? And you have a pitch deck and you want an investor, call that you're on. Maybe you want to role play that, right? Because that's important, right? It's worth a lot of money. So I highly urge you to get this. If you want to know more, hit me up. Let me know. I got you. Hi, Bendito. This is amazing. So, you got to get it.